Tottenham lose at home to Leicester City after taking the lead. That is relegation-riddled Leicester City. Another bad day for Ange Postecoglou and these players. It's one win in 11. One win in 11 for Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. I'm going to make sure I've counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. With 4 defeats on the bounce. They are in a relegation battle. And I genuinely mean this. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating. They could go down. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Football Terrace, and a shout out to our title sponsors of the show, Stocks FC. Go get yourself signed up now to a free account and you go into a prize draw to win a PlayStation 5. Plus, you'll be gifted 5 free stocks on their platform. But as we said, look, I want to start off first of all by saying congratulations to Leicester. A brilliant fight back. In terms of the league, I believe it does. They step outside the relegation zone now. So a massive 3 points to them as they move on to 17 points. It drags Tottenham closer, though. You've got Everton, who won yesterday. They actually have a game in hand. If they do something against Liverpool, they could put Tottenham as low as 16th. But you've got to look at Tottenham's form. You've got to look at how their players are reacting to this situation. They are in a relegation battle. And some will say, Terry, you're being a little bit over the top. Maybe you're exaggerating slightly. And I'll tell you why I'm not. First and foremost, Big Ange Postecoglou looks defeated. The way he stares at the ground, his demeanor and his attitude. I'm sure he's going to do it again in his pre-match interviews with Sky and the BBC. He's going to be rude. He's going to be snappy. The man is drowning. He isn't coping. Secondly, the players don't have a great amount of fight. They came out in that second half and they were second to every ball. They were sleeping. And thirdly, these players didn't go to Tottenham to be in a relegation battle. When you look at the league table right now, Southampton, Ipswich, potentially Wolves, Leicester definitely, Everton, it's been every year for a long time now. West Ham fans never get ahead of themselves. Palace, they 27 points, they would have been. Probably Brentford, even though they've done well. These teams are always in mode for, you could be in a relegation battle. This could be a long, tough season. If we get a few bad injuries, the squad ain't as deep as the boys at the top. We don't have the money. So I think their players come in and have this understanding that they're going to look to do as well as possible, but you could be in a dogfight. You could be in a relegation battle. I don't think anybody went to Tottenham this summer. I don't think anyone in the Tottenham squad was thinking about a relegation fight. What happens if I go down? Do I have a relegation clause? Does my money go up? Does my money go down? What are we going to do? They joined Tottenham because they believed Tottenham were going to push towards Champions League positions. All banter aside, that's it. So when you couple that mindset with a team that is not playing well for its manager, a manager who just cannot get a tune out of this team, a side that had no fight today, 1 win in 11 Premier League games. 1 win in 11! It's abysmal. And I understand injuries, cool. But the starting 11 was still better than Leicester's. And this is where you've got to be fair with this analysis. Spurs are in a relegation fight. And if they don't sack Big Ange, they're going down. They'll go down. The players aren't there for a relegation fight. They're not there for that. They're not going to have the minerals. They're not going to have the underbelly. They're not going to have especially if it turns out some of them have got a clause where they can leave. And you might find that being the case because Levy and co are not going to want to spend the money on the salaries in the Championship. They're right now 8 points clear of the relegation zone on 24 points. But Wolves are starting to play better and win games. They play Ipswich soon, as an example. they are going to get dragged closer and closer towards it. If they continue on this run of form, if they only win one of their next 11 games, I'm not too sure how many draws they got. So let's be fair on this. 2 draws, 1 win. So it's 5 points in 11 games. In another 11 matches time, if they only have 5 more points, I'll be on 29. And then you're talking about with 4 games to go. They're not tracking towards 40 points. They could go down. And as I said before, they're not in the fight for that. And the Leicesters and the Evertons and the Wolves and the Ipswiches, there's a different mindset because they're kind of where they're meant to be, with all due respect to those clubs. It's a different feel about it. They're in major, major trouble. Big Ange has to go. He should not be allowed to survive this because he's going to take Tottenham to the Championship. Mark my words, they're going down if he stays. I'm not blaming it all on him. I don't think sacking him makes Spurs title contenders next year. I know Levy is a bigger problem. I know Enoch are a bigger problem. I understand the squad building is poor. But please do not pretend you didn't hear my distinction. I'm just stating the squad isn't built for Ange. The squad wasn't built for a relegation battle. They're in one. He will take them down. Spurs will get relegated if they don't make a change. Just see that in the second half, coupled with the injuries as well. It's horrendous. Let's listen to what you guys have got to say in the comment section. I'm intrigued to know. Let's go to your super chats here. First one says, can't fill a bench. We're 26 days into the window with no signings, but Spurs fans continue screaming for just Ange's head like the pussies you are. Cal, I actually agree with you on that. As I said right at the end of my relegation talk there, anyone who thinks just sacking Big Ange is going to fix their club is as deluded as United fans that thought sacking Ollie, sacking Jose, sacking Ten Hag would fix us overnight. Deeper problems. I have PTSD from Gulf War. Glad I'm not a Spurs fan. That would trip me over the edge. By the way, very sorry to hear that about yourself, Jason. But of course, thank you for your service. He says, I'd consider ending it all, let alone the stream. Come on, you gooners. I feel for X. In fairness, I watched a bit of X. I was also watching, I think her name's Yummy. It's a thing of beauty, man. It's a thing of beauty. Keep Ange, please. Currently trending. Yeah, because rivals know they're going to go down if he stays. Rivals know this. From top 4 to relegation, yet no heat from the media. That makes me ask Mo's question. Is it because Spurs are irrelevant? Crazy this man was compared to Sir Alex. I don't have a personal problem with Big Ange. I did have a personal problem with that statement that was made by journalists. I thought it was so disrespectful to compare him to the greatest to ever do it after 10 games. And by the way, that was actually not even after 10 games. It was after about 5. Yeah, it was crazy. Jerome here says, up at 3 a.m. on my effing birthday to watch this crap. I am done with this nonsense. We are in a relegation battle. Ange is drowning and the club has fouled him again. First of all, happy birthday, Jerome. Secondly, change teams, bruv. Change teams. Change teams. Nobody will hold it against you. No one would say that's terrible. I think we'd all say we understand. Terry, we can't DM you for Satanta due to the X premium. Email me then. It's on my email address is on my X, and I'll send it through that way. It's probably easier. Different context, and we can't score goals. This is Spurs' Potter season. They need to change manager. Think it'll be less than 40 to stay up. Yeah, you are right. Less than 40 might get you to stay up. I just look at what squads were built for and what they were built to do. And no one went to Spurs. No one started the season thinking they're in a relegation fight. So it really is a different mindset. And I truly believe this. If you grew up poor, like I did, and then you go through a few hard years, maybe you make a little bit of money, and then you go through a few hard years, I think you can cope. You've been there before, you understand it. I look at teams like Spurs, Man United, Chelsea, these sides. These squads, these teams aren't built to go through that. The mentality isn't there because they're not sort of hardened to that type of fight. And that's why I think they've got to remove him and bring somebody in to give a bit of stability, win a few games, and just get them out of this rut, because I think he'll take them down. Bournemouth have a bunch of injuries and four players, 22, or younger, playing just like Spurs. Areola is coaching his arse off. Keep Ange, though. Spurs will win trophies in his second season. Just mad. They might end up winning the League Cup and going down. It might be a bit of a Wigan season. Can you imagine? Bro, Spurs could actually get 20 losses. They could have been on 13 defeats this season in the Premier League. To put that into context, Southampton have 19. Ipswich, who are 19th, have 13. Wolves have 15. Leicester, 14. West Ham and Man United, 10 each, which is terrible, by the way. Brentford, 10. But 13 defeats, 7 wins. That's what does help them. Only 3 draws. Only 3 draws for Tottenham. As much as I would love to see Tottenham relegated, but that would mean no North London derby anytime soon. Yeah, listen, I've always said that about Liverpool. As funny as it would be for them to disappear for a while, I would miss that game. A team that just played out of their skins on Thursday and the same team going again today. It is criminal that 26 days and nothing else. Listen, I agree with you. I think your board should have bought players. I also did think, though, against Hoffenheim in the week, the amount of chances and opportunities they had. You guys are just leaking like a broken fridge. Offenheim just didn't take their chances. That second half, the space you gave Leicester, I can't blame injuries for that. Lack of concentration, a lack of intensity. It was woeful. Spurs should not release Big Ange. He will keep them up. He will definitely get his team playing better. I did notice one thing, and this is a bit of a dig because I like them both. All the Spurs fans who, up until about 7 months ago, kept on saying that Spurs' squad's better than Arsenal's, better than United's, better than Chelsea's, more embarrassing sense, better than Arsenal's. You just can't make that argument anymore. You just can't. It's funny how they're not showing their faces on the terrace anymore, though, isn't it? None of them. None of them. Spurs will kick ass in the Championship. Yeah, you might win the league. That's very true. Maybe that's true. But yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. Right, time to bring the panel out now to have their say, because I'm very intrigued to hear from them. Terry, do you think Ange is causing the injuries? Partly. He'll be responsible for some of them, not all of them. I don't think whenever you've got a situation that Spurs are in, it's never just the manager or just the players or just the board. It's a combination of these things. But I think any Tottenham fan that is labouring under the illusion, or delusion really, that sacking Big Ange makes this team and squad brilliant is a fool. You're a fool to think that. Doesn't mean you should want him to stay, but understand there's deeper problems. It's so important that football fans start to learn what's really going on at their football clubs. If we beat Fulham later, we go 5 points clear of Spurs. Yeah, look, I'm not confident about that game, if I'm being honest with you, and I'll talk about that one later once it finishes, but I'm not really focused on Spurs as a United fan in terms of what my team's doing. I'm looking at our performances. But yeah, I mean, the talk of us being in a relegation battle, look, we lose today. We're not far off it, so we need to go and win. And I've been open and honest about that as well. I just feel there's a different mood from our squad towards the manager versus the situation and the fans and the players towards Big Ange. I just feel slightly different. Carrick is a coach Spurs need. Project Youth. I don't know if Carrick's ready for the Premier League yet, and I would advise Michael Carrick to stay as far. I know he understands and knows Tottenham. He was a Spurs player. I would advise him to stay as far away from that football club as possible, personally. We need young Dan to answer for his sins. Yeah, I don't know where young Dan is. Maybe he's away at camp. I don't know. I don't know where he is. Time to bring out my panel now. We've got Deji, we've got Kate, we've got Judge Mo, we've got Orchy. Arsenal fan Matt is also here. That we'll get his opinions. He's backstage. But let's bring them all out now to have their say. Deji's here, Kate's here, Judge Mo, Orchy, Matt. Welcome to the show, all of you. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all good. Deji, I'm going to go to you first, mate. 1-0 up. You lose 2-1. You're in a relegation fight. Talk to me.
Yeah. At the beginning of the season, I've been on this show several times and people find my take on football a bit strange. And this is what you get when you have low standards and you go for low hanging. In our quest for a Carabao Cup, we brought in Postecoglou. He is rubbish. Whack, whack, whack. And we are now legitimately in the relegation fight. So for all those Spurs fans, Ange in, trust the process. Are you ready to go down with the Titanic? because you guys were running around, scurrying around on a boat in the middle of the ocean. This is the worst Tottenham team I've seen in 15 years. And we're still going to hold on? You're not going to blame the manager? This has got nothing to do with Levy right now. Yes, Levy's a waste man. But your manager should be able to manage a team. When I'm seeing Archie Gray playing left back, why is he playing left back? Why are you playing these kids out of position? Why are you relying on 18-year-olds? That's what you get. We are rubbish. We are legitly in the mud. Mr. Box Office was right. I was wrong. For me now, if we look, you saw Everton get rid of their manager, bring in Moyes, they've got 2 wins. How long is it going to take before we make a decision to potentially save our season? Because at the rate we're going, we are going down faster than the Titanic. Tottenham could get relegated, people. When I said after the Brighton game, Spurs could lose 18 games this season, I was doing a bit of hyperbole. I was exaggerating a lot. We've lost 13 games. It's not even Feb. 13. This is unacceptable. I don't give a damn what, even if you're Ange in, open your bloody eyes. Are you ready to go down with this club? Because if you do, crack on. But I'm not staying with this. I've never considered supporting a new team in all my life. And I'm just going to leave it as that.
I hear you there, Kate. I'm not going to suggest you're going to support a new team, but do you agree with Deji from the perspective of they've got to make a change now to try and, because you could go down. I mean, the form is 1 win in 11, 5 points from those 11 games as well. Would you be surprised if tonight or tomorrow morning the axe wasn't swung and Big Ange was out?
First of all, Deji was the one who was telling me I pissed him off when he was telling me Ange's going to win the league not that long ago. How things change. Do I think... I don't see how Ange stays from here. We've just played against a team that haven't won in 7 and they made us look stupid. I mean, that team we put out was more than capable of beating Leicester, but there wasn't any player on that team today that shone themselves in glory. It was just terrible. And I don't think we will go down. However, unless we get rid of Ange, we've got a massive chance, because I just don't see where we're going to... Our next win's coming from. We've got Brentford away next. Well, no, we've got Elfsborg in the Europa League, then Brentford away, and they're both. Every game's difficult. I mean, Leicester. People were laughing. I predicted a draw, and people were laughing, telling me I'm negative. There's no way we're going to lose to Leicester or get a draw. And we literally, by the end of the game, we're begging for us to score to salvage a point. It's absolutely embarrassing. But if Ange doesn't get sacked tonight, I think he must have photos of Levy with Donna Cullen, because no other Spurs manager would have survived this long without getting the sack. There's got to be some brown envelopes going around, because
Pochettino got sacked for a lot less.
Yeah, so did Conte, so did Mourinho. They've all got sacked for less. But I mean, this is
Conte went a bit. He totally trashed everyone, didn't he, at the club? So I think that's why he went. But look, guys, I wouldn't be upset if Ange got the sack. But then, let's say we sack Ange, and even if we can go and get Pep Guardiola, who do you think? Like, what is anybody going to do? Listen, it's anyone. The 26th of January, and the club went and got a goalkeeper that, fair enough, he's done all right since he's come in, but we already, what's his name? The other goalkeeper that came in, he did a pretty good job. Like, he could have deputized for whatever. It's just how. Listen, I'm not saying, Ange can go. Like, I'm sick of this as well. But I'm sorry. Like, I was watching Chris Cowling's video just now that he shot live from the ground. And there's a massive banner saying 20 odd years and so many managers. And the same, like, there was a massive Levy out, Levy out, Levy out. Everyone's chanting Levy out in the ground. And I think that is the point. Like, at what point does a chairman, how could, this is the thing. This is the thing that we need to sort out, because that's the small club mentality. How can a chairman survive 20 odd years with this amount of failure, with so many managers? Listen, we went and got Conte, someone like Conte or Mourinho should have changed things at the club when even those kind of managers couldn't change it. So what do we do? Like, who are we going to go and get? What do you guys suggest? Because I don't see anything changing. Yeah, we'll go and get another manager. We'll maybe get a couple of wins and we'll survive. I think personally, I don't think
we need to survive.
You won't go down, but you know, is it going to get any better? I'm not saying
you're making excuses though. You're making excuses.
I'm not making excuses.
All evil. You are because a normal manager, a Sean Dyche, a Sam Allardyce, any manager you like would get more out of that squad than Ange Postecoglou is right now.
I'm sorry, with the players that we have, I don't think a Sam Allardyce or anyone would have won that game today. Maybe they might have drawn.
Come out! Oh my God.
Kate, we've got Ben Davies.
So protected.
I've said it for 3 seasons in a row. I don't want to see Ben Davies wearing another Tottenham shirt again.
But he's been one of the best defenders we've got this season.
Idiot. He's getting all that money, and when there's a shot coming in, he's doing this. He's doing this.
We just got to call
a player does that.
We just got to call a spade, and I agree with Kate.
And half of our team is shit, and they need to be let go. And it's because idiots like Levy don't let them go.
Because the whole Levy argument, I hear it, but there's nothing we can do about Levy. What you need is a manager that can work with the establishment. Pochettino, whether you liked it or not, he did an all right job. Conte, whether you liked it or not, he did an all right job. They fell out because we weren't ready to spend the money on the players that he wanted. The same thing with Mourinho. So it made me realize that Spurs ain't ready to spend big. But there are other managers, and Kate is right. If Areola had our squad, we would not be 15th. Yes, granted, we might not win the trophy, but we wouldn't be 15th, mate. And that is the issue. The issue here is not about trophies no more.
Deji, I'm not against that. I'm not against
that. What I want to say is this. As much as I love Spurs, I'm not so proud to suggest that if we stick with this manager, somehow we won't go down. At the rate we are going down first. We are going down first, mate. That is what we've got to wake up and see. But look, Everton is now a point behind us with a game in hand. Leicester is 4 points behind Spurs. Kate asked the question, where do you see Spurs picking up points? If safety is 40 points, I can't see Spurs picking up 16 points between now and the end of the season with this manager. So if we don't go, then we have to accept that we're going down, and maybe we're going down with a trophy. And I will ask the question: was it worth it?
Well, no.
On that,
I never said I don't want Ange sacked. I would be more than happy.
Orchy, but what's your thought on this point here? That I get where you're coming from. Your club is not built for a Conte or a Jose or a Diego Simeone, because they're going to demand things your club won't do. I think that Ange is similar, not with the CV, but similar in the sense that he needs a certain level and quality of player based on the league that he's in, almost like the best squad in the league, to make his system work week in, week out. I think this is where Spurs fans, I think, need to realize where and what they are based on how your board operates. And you need that middle of the road manager. You need someone that no one's going to go, wow, look who we just went and got. But equally, yeah, you don't want to go old school. You don't want to get a David Moyes. You don't want to go and get a Big Sam. But I think you need that mid-table level manager, because you build mid-table level squads. And I think that if you as Spurs fans accept what you are and demand the players and the management for what you are, I think long-term you'd all just be a lot happier. I think you'd be a lot happier. Because for me, there's something amiss here. You can't bring in managers who demand the best if you know your board ain't going to give you the best. So you need someone who's happy to be a Spurs manager, or you go for managers like Poches, who will use you, not in a horrible way, for 3 or 4 years, build good teams, play good football, and then move on to Real Madrid, then move on to bigger clubs, and you just maybe are a stepping stone for them. I just don't... You guys continually moan about the way your board operates, and I agree with you. But if you know they're not going to change, then your expectations have to change. You can't sit there and go, I know my board will do X. No matter what I do, they won't change. You therefore can't be demanding Real Madrid standards if you behave like Bournemouth with a bit more money. I think you need to behave more like Bournemouth, more like Brentford, more like Brighton, sit at that level. And when you're punching above it, enjoy it instead of this is where we are now, because your board will never give you what you want to maintain that level. And I'm not digging Spurs out. I hate what your owners do to your club, but I think there's a disconnect sometimes. You know, you've been on like an all-inclusive holiday and it's great for 2 weeks. You eat and drink whenever you want. Someone's cleaning your room. For 2 or 3 weeks, you live like you're a billionaire. But it ain't reality. And I think Spurs go through that, where they have periods where, oh, we're one of the big boys. You're not.
Mate,
Your club don't act like it. You're never going to be given the squad or the managers collectively to make you that team. I think you've got to readjust your standards. And I'm not trying to sound harsh, but I think that's the reality of the situation.
You know, I get what you're saying, but we did exactly that when we brought Poch in, didn't we? And then they went and got, like, you know, obviously we at the time we had Ericsson, we had Dele Alli, well, peak Dele Alli. We had, you know, all of the players that we had. That's exactly what we did. Exactly what you just said is exactly what they did when he brought Poch in. And for the first 2, 3, 4 years, we were beyond expectations. I mean, 2 seasons in a row, we were the only realistic, like when Leicester won the Premier League, we came second. And then the year after when Chelsea won it, we came like second. Well, we fell off in the last couple of games, granted. But those are the 2 years where Poch put a real challenge. But then what did Levy do again? He didn't buy a single player for Poch in like nearly 2 seasons. But this man, even if we brought in the middle of the,
and that's exactly the same crap over and over again. But that's exactly the point. But that's exactly the point. If you know they're going to keep doing it over and over again as fans, you've got to learn to adjust. I know people say if you have high standards, this is where you know it's bullshit. People say, Standard FC say, if you have high standards, you can force your club into doing the right thing. Well, it ain't worked for fucking Spurs, is it? You guys are out here screaming and shouting on streams, tweeting, sending in letters, doing whatever. Your ownership ain't changed. So therefore,
I actually think
standards mean nothing.
I actually think you're wrong, Gunnar.
Go on, mate. Go on.
Okay, just I'm not here to wind people up, right? Like I'm not gonna
Yes,
ask
you
question,
are.
all this shit.
Yes, you are, Mo.
why are you here, Mo? That's exactly
Look at his face.
Listen, being honest. I actually disagree with Terry and Orchy in something you said. You guys think that the owners, yes, in some windows, they don't purchase the players that you guys want. However, I'm looking at the last 2, 3 windows for Spurs. And if I mention the names to you, guys, Udogie, one of the most sought left backs in Italy, and you guys got him. Romero was the literally defender of the year in Italy. Van de Ven, fantastic defender. Bentancur was playing for Juventus and he won the league with them. Kulusevski was arguably one of Sweden's best players, right? You're talking about Youngman's son. He's there for years and they keep renewing the contract. Bissouma was one of the times was stocked exactly like Caicedo and you guys picked him up from Brighton. James Maddison was compared to the best players in the league and your board went and got him. Vicario was the best goalkeepers in Italy and you got him. It is not only about the board. The board sometimes provide tools. There is a problem about the mentality. It is not only about the transfer window. It's about how the board think. And I say that about Man United. When a player walks into Spurs dressing room, they don't only deal with the manager, they deal with the staff, the hierarchy. And I believe that no one transmits a message to everyone that this is a big club and we need to aim for trophies. I believe that is the problem at the club. Because if you look at your squad and your names, before they joined Spurs, everyone wanted this. Udogie was like, everyone wanted Udogie. Romero, Deji, and me and Deji did shows 2 years ago, and he's like, he's one of the best defenders in Italy. And we landed this guy. He knows Vicario, and all of you guys know Vicario. So my point is, we cannot just say it's a transfer window. It's a mentality issue at the club. And the problem is, the more it goes, your standards will go down, that the players that will join the club will be collecting paychecks, and no one is demanding anything from them. When losing becomes a normality, this is where the club's downfall. That is the reality at the club. Don't sit me here and tell me, but the club didn't sign players. Well, you didn't succeed when you signed a lot of players. You didn't succeed last season, right? And you signed and you had a very good team. Injuries or not injuries, yes. But I'm sorry, guys. Am I watching Leicester City today lineup versus your lineup? By the way, even Richarlison, Arsenal wanted Richarlison. Barcelona wanted Richarlison from Everton and Spurs landed the guy for £50 million. That should have been a marquee signing. It's all about the mentality. You look at your lineup today on paper at home, you'll be fucking smashing Leicester.
Yeah.
Don't give me Ange, don't give me Davis, don't give me... On paper at home, I understand if you're playing Fulham away, you're playing Brent, you're playing Leicester City at 3 wins. 3 wins, and you lost. So it is not. So see, I'm not here to whine people. I can sit here and whine. The reality is, you guys are going about the owners. The owners provide the players that should have been not 15. Same for Man United.
The owners, though. It's not about the
It's
owners.
not about the owners. There is a mentality issue at the club.
Let the main event start. Say something right here, because I've got to be honest. The owners have done what they should be. I told them in June 2023. He's backed the manager through a bad time. He's doing it right now. He's doing it right now because, like I said, the record says that this guy is losing more than he's winning. 13 losses in 20. I mean, that's sackable form. Worse than Pochettino, who, let's be honest, he went through a lot as Tottenham manager. Even though I didn't even like Mourinho or Conte, especially Mourinho, his team, Mourinho, he had Eric Dyer. Virgil van Dijk.
Sorry, I had to run off. It's really stormy here, and the fence panel blew down of all our neighbours and neighbours. My dog was 4 houses down, running around in people's gardens, trying to jump in their fish pond. So I had to run and go get him because the winds blew the fences down. Anyway, sorry, back to you, Mr. Box Office.
Yeah, Eric Dyer. I think it was Sanchez. I mean, he had Doherty. I mean, look at the defense we got. I mean, I'll give it to Mo, even though he ignores me. And don't get used to this, Mo. By the way, don't get used to this. He's making a good point. Deji, you should be using him more. He should have used Spence, who, by the way, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's playing really well because of Ange." No, he's not. No, he's not. He's playing well because he's sitting there saying, "You've ignored me for 6 months. You've ignored me for 6 months, so I'm going to stick it to you, bruv. I'm going to stick it to you. That's why." You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, the way that we played Bentancur was awful today, and that's why it's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I'm saying I want Højbjerg back in my midfield when I was criticising the guy so much because I'm sorry that guy is awful. I'm seeing Berva, who, let's be honest here, right? He's a red card to be waiting for. Red card to be waiting for because he needs experience, proper experience next to him. Proper experience next to him, like a Locatelli. You know what I mean? Or like a Matt O'Reilly went to Brighton. You know what I mean? It's going to tell him just calm himself down. But I mean, he's doing better than bloody Bentancur. It's embarrassing. You know what I mean? We should have won this game. One of the things that I'm really worried about, and we are in relegation battle right now. I knew it after Arsenal because I said we need to start grinding out results. I'm seeing Leicester City grinding out results. We're not even doing that. And I'm even worried about my manager, who I'm telling you right now, I've said on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV, you should subscribe because the badass of YouTube's not even got started yet. Not even got started yet. Yeah? And by the way, Deji, that ticket for soca music, yeah, is available to you, bruv, if you want to go to it, you know, because you're not enjoying it right now. I'll tell you that for a fact. You know what I mean? But like, I'm sorry, the manager doesn't even realise we're in the relegation battle, the way he's talking. Well, the way we are playing is the way that he talks. Yeah, and Daniel Levy, you've got a decision to make right now, yeah? Because at the moment, I want a proper coaching. That's what we need, a coach. A coach that's going to make players better because no one's got better. Because do not talk to me about Kulusevski because Kulusevski's only gone in the middle where he's supposed to be, and that's it. He's not got better. He's not got better. If we've got the evidence, look at him at Parma. Look at him at Parma when he was at Parma. I'm sorry, it's an absolute embarrassment, and I'm fuming. I'm fuming with this manager. I'm fuming with my team, and that's all I've got to say. Back to you, Terry. I'm absolutely fed up with this crap.
Thank you, Mr. Box Office. Listen, I know you're emotional about it. I would be as well. I want to give a big shout out to our title sponsors today, Stocks FC. Get your 5 free stocks right now, plus go into the draw to win a PlayStation 5, courtesy of us here at the Terrace. But he wasn't playing in the Tottenham Leicester game, but this is one of my picks for you. This is someone you've got to go and look at if you're using Stocks FC, and it's man like Damsgaard. He's cheap, but he's efficient. He gets great reward points already, and he's already grown by 61%. 61% growth since his IPO went out and was available. He had another brilliant game again today for Brentford as they keep going up the lead. But Damsgaard is an absolutely brilliant pick indeed. And when you're on the website, one of the great pages to go to is this here, and it shows all the points that players got during games. And you can see over the weekend, Calafiori is up there, Guardiola, they obviously play very well. Bruno had a great one midweek. Oh, James Maddison actually got a lot of points this week when it comes to that game. If you look at the live matches or the games that are being played today, obviously these are the West Ham versus Aston Villa ones. So make sure you go and take a look. learn. You get your 5 free stocks to begin with. Learn to drive them, whichever way around you got to do it. And it's absolutely brilliant platform. Load of fun as well. If you like fantasy, then honestly, it's a platform to use. So go and check out Stocks FC now and get yourselves signed up. And I've now caught my breath after my dog. Everyone was knocking on my door. And I'm, what's going on? And he's like 3 or 4 asses down running around other people's gardens because they're all, I couldn't believe it. It's not our fault. The wind blew their fences down. And he doesn't understand the concept of no fence. Oh, anyway, just worried, didn't he? He's a good dog. Do you know what I mean? Something bad could happen. But no.
Can I kind of just come in with what Mo was saying, right? Mo said, right, the owners have spent money and they bought those players. Fair enough. And I'm not saying I don't want Ange gone. I don't think he'll be able to survive this. I don't think any manager should survive this. And yes, he's doing a lot of stupid things that is frustrating me as well. But it's not the only, like you mentioned Udogie. He's been out for the last 2 months. He's mentioned Van de Ven, Romero. These players, yeah. Even Vicario has been out for the last, So they don't, like, just summer gone, Terry, they bought in who I would consider ready to go into the team, ready-made, who can make a difference. Is the 2 players that they bought were Solanke and Odebear. Odebear got injured all the way back in September, and we haven't seen him since. And then Solanke, yeah, he's played. I mean, Solanke, he played in his first game, ironically, against Leicester, our first game of the season. Then the guy got a knock, got injured, and he didn't even play for the next 2 games. Then he came back on our 4th game.
Can I counteract your points? Because I'm sorry. Because
listen,
there was a lot of top.
All I'm trying to say is we needed more than 2 players this summer. We needed more than 2 ready-made players this summer.
Yeah. I want to counter this point because it's interesting you're saying that, because a lot of people like me, that got absolute abuse, even when Ange got started. I would start on my start. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. A lot of people were abusing me, and a lot of people that I stream with, that people know, right, got a lot of abuse because we said the summer was not good enough, right? We got in Archie Gray, we got in Bergvall. I did a video when they said, the ITK said, and even the defenders as well. We'll start talking about the midfield. When they said, we're really impressed with Archie Gray and Bergvall, we don't need any midfielders. As soon as I said that, I was like, you're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. And then the defenders were coming, and then they said, we don't need to block the pathway to Phillips, who we completely ignored last season, by the way, when we were saying, why are you not playing Phillips for? Oh, he's not ready. And Vucevic, who, okay, looks good, but when he comes to the Premier League, let's see what happens. Yeah, we said we need the defenders because we said Romero was very lucky last season. We knew Van der Ven's handshake was going to tick. We all knew it. We saw it last season, right? So we needed defenders to compete, because what I don't like the word backup. I don't do backups anymore, because if you want backups, go and get Sanchez go and get Eric Dyer back. Yeah, go and get Sissoko back. All those players back that we said were not good enough. We want players to compete. Unfortunately, Ange has not managed the squad better. I'm seeing Bournemouth with 10 injuries. 10 injuries. Right? I don't care whether or not playing Europe. They're a small team. 10 injuries, and they're managing it. And look where they are at the moment.
It's a great point you raise there. I will come back to Orchy. We've got super chats to get to, and obviously Jacob's here with Jacob. A lot of sort of macro conversations about the larger issues currently at Tottenham, specifically on the game. What do you think went wrong today? Because you were the better team in the first half. You go in 1-0 up, but you never really got going in the second half. What do you think the catalyst to that was, in your opinion, Jacob?
It just looked like uncreativity and tired legs. Looked like a bunch of people loafing around. I don't even have a real assessment to give you or anyone, because I don't even know what I saw. I was watching it like, what are we doing? I think that I at one point the announcer said that they had all these chances on our goal. We didn't have hardly any chances on their goal. It's just a complete dominance. And this is something that I think we saw before, even with the first 11, which was in the first half you play one way, and in the second half you play completely the opposite. Whether you're good in the first half, then you're going to be bad in the second half, and vice versa. So to me, it just seems like everyone's cooked. They're done. They look tired. there was at one point before we even entered the stoppage time, Bentancur's got his hands on his knees and he's like leaned over breathing, and he didn't even get a sub today. So I think it's just a matter of a lot of different compounding factors. And for anyone to say, oh, look at this lottery number that I got wrong. It's like, cool, good job. I'm real proud of you. I can pick a losing lottery number too. It's very simple to do. It's very easy to do. What's harder is to say, I believe this numbers are going to win. And you know what? Year in, year out, my numbers have lost too. So we're all in the same place. But this whole like, I got 10 points or 10 cool points or 5 high fives from 5 dudes because I got something right. It's just weird. Like, I don't think it's like this. Like I heard Alex saying, oh, I get this abuse from people who's had this different opinion and this and that. It's like, I mean, a counter opinion is not abuse, in my opinion.
Not you. You know, Jacob, it's not you. It's not you.
No. I know what you're.
All the time. You know.
Yeah, you can say it both ways. I walked into a stream today and got abused within 3 minutes.
I'm going to be going live later, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of fun people in the chat today.
Anyone disagreeing with them. So
That's
it
the
works
thing.
both ways.
And I would say, what I would say about the
welcome.
abuse thing is this, right? You know, if you're working with people that are, I'm not even going to say what some of the things, I don't know who you're talking about specifically, but there is a difference between Alex, you're wrong for these reasons. If you're friends with someone, they might call you a few names because me and my mates do that. But if you're streaming with or working with anybody that's out here calling you a pejorative over football, I don't know what you're doing streaming with them. And if you stream with people that are out there abusing others over footballing opinions, if you sit there and work and stream with them, well, then you're as bad. No wonder other people abuse you because I believe in life, you are what you hang around with. So my view is this: if I say I think Ange is good and somebody starts wishing death on my children as an example of abuse, anyone who works with that person, in my eyes, is as bad as that person, right? By the way, you don't always know what other people say and do. I don't expect all of us to follow each other around online like stalkers. That'll be weird. But yeah, Alex, anyone who's criticizing your opinion, that's fair. Anyone who's abusing you, like, my advice is just don't ever work with them again, or anyone who's working with them, because why would you want to work with abusive people? I think you should be able to have a good quality football conversation. Sometimes they get heated because, you know, we're all passionate about our clubs. But I do agree with you. Abuse shouldn't happen. I do agree with Jacob, though. Challenge and towards opinions like on this show is not abuse in my view, personally. But
yeah,
sorry,
that was. I just wanted to lightly touch on that and say that I don't think a difference of opinion is abuse. I don't think anyone's saying you got it wrong, ha ha ha. That's not abuse. It's just banter. And to me, sure, maybe we all got it wrong. But at the end of the day, if you're a Spurs fan and you're turning to other Spurs fans and you're saying, ha ha ha, you got it wrong, you're a loser. Because what are you doing? You're just as badly damaged as us, but oh, I got it right. I knew the boat was going down, but I'm drowning as well. So it's like, what do you get out of that? I don't see the end goal. I don't see what the prize is for being like, I got this right because I knew Ange from day one wasn't a good manager. Well, he is a good manager. It's just very clear that the gap level from where he was to where he's at now is larger than maybe he was even expecting. And he's obviously very grounded in what worked for him. And I think that I don't blame him for that, although it's clear it's not working. And it just almost feels like the same conversations every week. Every week it's the same. Oh, the players let us down. No, it's not the players. It's Ange. No, it's not that. It's Levy. It's, you know, at a certain point, it's like, when are we going to talk about something else? And I would love a win to be able to talk about something good because we win versus Hoffenheim. And I started thinking, okay, we get this win versus Leicester. That's 3 points in the league. Then we're looking for the Brentford. And we can't even get past that. 1 point versus Leicester this year is insane. That is mind-boggling. So I don't care whose opinion is right or wrong or whatever. It doesn't matter. Because the point is, we've lost 13 matches out of 20. 20-some match. That's insane. That is, I've never seen it as a fan. I'm sure there's other people who were fans whenever we got relegated back in the time. I wasn't. But for me, this is definitely the worst league form I've seen us in. And it's really strange because it's like we might just be a cup competition. I don't know. We'll find out in February when we've got that week versus Liverpool and Aston Villa. But outside of that, I don't really got a whole lot of good going on with Tottenham this year because what do you defend? Do you say
Yeah.
There's nothing to defend in any of the players, in the manager, in the owners. I think you could sack them all, and I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be more than one thing can be right at the same time, Jacob. Like everything that we've said, is right. Yeah. You know, there isn't really anything wrong. You know, it doesn't have to be binary. It doesn't have to be one person. You know, it's just we're all expressing our opinions, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, whether you agree with it or not, or whether you've got counter arguments. As long as you do it in a respectful way, is valid. You know,
I think the difference is though. I think the difference is that I know people that don't like that love Ange. Right? And they've given me a football opinion. I actually am good friends with one of them, but I stream with a lot. Right? Gives me a football opinion why they've kept Ange. You know what I mean?
I was really disappointed when we got Ange. Listen, at the beginning, I wanted Poch back. I personally wanted Poch back. It was the wrong decision to get Ange.
It was the wrong decision to get Ange.
But you know what?
He was our fourth option. We wound up there.
But
Alex, as well, Alex, that's the whole point. So I just want to go back to what you said. I think is really important.
Yeah,
you can have conversations about things that people disagree on. The problem that you sometimes find is that so many people consistently think, "Oh, you're only trying to." Like, you ask people, I get it a lot, and maybe I haven't always done a good job at this, and I can hold my hands up. Sometimes I question people, and I'm not questioning people to catch them out. I'm just trying to dig a little bit deeper to understand their full logic around why they like someone, what they've got to think to keep it. But there was always this, "Oh yeah, but if I answer it and give too much information, then it can be used against me later." Yeah, maybe for a bit of fun and banter, and that's kind of normal. But it has become harder and harder, I think, in this space. And I think we do a pretty good job on the terrace, like in this show, where people get to express themselves. And there's a little pushback and there's challenge. But no, you're absolutely right. More conversations, open conversations need to be had. I want to go to these super chats. There's quite a few of them, and obviously I'll present them to you as a panel, individually to answer some of them. Terry, have a look at Spurs' remaining fixtures. They might genuinely go down. Look, I said it earlier. I think they could if Ange stayed, and I don't think it's about Ange being a bad manager. I honestly think Spurs players didn't come in expecting to be in a relegation fight, and I think that does something to your mindset. I think there's something in that. I've seen it in fighting before, where a fighter goes into a fight thinking, I'll have him out of here in 2 rounds. Suddenly they're in the 8th or 9th, and they're struggling because they didn't mentally prepare for sometimes they don't prepare for that battle in that fight. And I think that Spurs could find themselves in trouble if Ange stays. I really do. And by the way, I actually don't want Tottenham to go down. I really, really don't. I wouldn't wish that. My dad supports them, so I don't want them to, but I do feel
I thought he was going to say, I wouldn't wish that for Kate and everyone. And then he goes to your dad. Come on, chuck us a bone here.
Do you know what, Kate? I'm going to apologize now for loving my dad more than you lot. I'm very sorry about that. I'm very, very sorry. I love my dad more. I apologize. I apologize for that. My question to you all is, who do we get? The team is on its knees. The question for you, Alex, who would be your number one choice to replace Ange if he went now today?
I think I'm just going to admit it. I'll take Poch back if I'm really honest with you.
You know what? I love you, Alex. You've been pining for your ex for so long, and
it's not even just that. He's not going to come. He's never going to come. But
he's got a job. He works for America. America's best ever manager. Have some respect.
Baby, come back.
Alex, it's not even that. It's like if it's a more realistic a choice, I would say Areola. I would say Areola.
Alex, I don't agree with you very often, but I'd have Poch back in a heartbeat. I love him.
Baby, come back.
It's not that you haven't agreed with me. It's not that you've gone back on what you said about me already, about what my takes are already. Okay, anyway, because most of the things I've said has been correct. Let's be honest.
You have been correct, but it's easier to predict bad things are going to happen.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true because I've got to say this.
Because as soon as the wheels fall off, which they will, you can say, "See, I told you."
No. I have to be honest. No, I've always respect Terry with his super chats.
Yeah, because just Spurs fans having the same discussion again feels like deja vu. Different manager, same old bottling. I mean, there is truth to that. Ain't even a dig. Like that's also why I think, and I think all Spurs fans agree that just sacking Ange and bringing back Poch doesn't fix everything automatically. There is more wrong at the club, and it needs that wider conversation. But Deji, you said Spurs were better than Arsenal. You can't still think your squad's better than Arsenal's, Deji. Have you changed your mind now?
Do you know what it is? That's such a lazy comment. Because Postecoglou has mismanaged this squad, all of a sudden my squad is not better. You heard Kate, you heard box office. Had we been under another manager, maybe this team does better. The truth of the matter is Arsenal remain the spicy Spurs, the red Tottenham, Scotch Bonnet FC, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I ain't going to depart from that, to be honest with you. That's who they are. So I don't give a damn. But I would like to say I agree with my learned friends on the panel. I think we've got a real decision to make. And the decision is this. Does Ange stay in charge for the Liverpool game? Because there were a lot of Tottenham fans shaking their bum violently when we got rid of Mourinho. And I would say, rightly so. I didn't see us winning under Mourinho. I don't see us winning under Postecoglou. But, in terms of Arsenal's squad, the truth is, what does Scotch Bonnet FC, Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Red Tottenham, what are they going to achieve? Nothing. So
we might stay in the league.
We're just as bad as each other. In fact, I'm not going to lie. I look at Arsenal and I see Red Spurs.
Hang on a minute. You can't say a team second in the league is as bad as a team 15th.
They are red top.
I love you, Deji. I love it. I'm not going to lie. Kane and Son took them to a new level. Spicy West. He says you're a spicy West Ham.
I don't think they took us to a new level. I think they bailed us out of a lot of bad situations.
Yeah, very true.
I think the managers.
And that makes Jose and Conte's tenure look a lot better. And then when people say, I want a real manager, it's like, well, we did have one. And what did we do?
This is where I don't agree. I think they utilize them very well. I think they utilize them very well, and
that could be
Ange
true.
Is,
The way Jose
Ange is
did.
not doing at the moment. That's the thing. They're using the players to the disposal. You see what I'm saying? It's so important because I just think the coaching is so important. That's why I don't.
But let me ask you this, Alex.
Even if we win the Carabao Cup,
and let me ask everybody. I genuinely have a question for everybody. Did y'all forget where we were when we appointed Ange? We were denied three times. And then we wound up with Ange. It's not, let's get Areola. Yeah, he wants to come here. That's what we're saying. Get Eddie Howe from Newcastle. He's going to come here over Newcastle. We wound up with Ange Postecoglou because we ran out of options and we weren't going to go 70-some days without a manager like we did with before Nuno.
In the first place, because he's a win-now manager. That's the thing. He's a win-now manager like Jose and Conte still. That's the thing, right? Because he doesn't stay at clubs very long. That's the thing. So he's the wrong manager. So that was on Scott Munn, who's a visible man, like I always said, because I haven't heard from him. You don't hear from him that much. And Levy, that's where Daniel Levy's got to take responsibility. Because he's a coach. We've not learned from the whole thing with
He is a proper coach. He just clearly doesn't have the tools here at this level to do it. You talk about a proper coach. The dude's been getting a paycheck for coaching for 30+ years. Have some shame. Have some shame. What have you been making money doing for the last 30 years? What have I been doing the last 30 years to make money? What does anyone like? But have you been coaching, winning titles, managing a country, managing in several countries, and then eventually winding up at the Premier League where ultimately you're failing currently? No, you haven't. So it's like, it's these buzzwords. People say, so-and-so said this negative adjective and verb associated with them, therefore I'm going to take it and run. And it's just, I get it. It's like Twitter culture, but like we're all having a conversation here. And I'm genuinely throwing out, like, who do you think we could actually get? Don't say Areola. Don't say Eddie Howe.
Well, there's Turchy available at the moment. Turchy's available at the moment. He's a coach. He's a coach.
Okay. A guy who's not in a job.
So that's what I'm saying. The thing is, though,
so a guy who's not actually a coach right now is an actual coach, but a guy who is coaching right now isn't a coach. I just want to understand the logic.
He's not coaching though. He's not coaching because no one's improved.
Well, neither is Terzic. He's at home watching the game like us.
This is where we don't agree. So this is where we don't agree.
Look, we'll leave it to the viewers. Give us your thoughts on that. Jacob or Alex, whose side are you on? I'd love to hear in the comment section. Robert here says all Spurs fans are buzzing with Ange. That's not true, actually, Robert. I know you're a member and you super chat, but a lot of Tottenham fans were not happy with his appointment. We've got to be fair about that. I bet you all would take fraud Teta in it, Kate, or how the Spursy.
No,
I don't want him either because he don't win nothing. But he is better than Ange. I will say that.
That's true. Spurs are the
Better at
most
coming up with
profitable-
excuses, sure. Every post match, he's got one like that, like cards. Just pulls them out the pocket.
Spurs are the most profitable football club in the world, and the wages are at 42% of the revenue. That's all on Levy. Mo, please ask one more time your favorite Spurs question. It's already gone now. Sorry. Mo, they are not here right now. Kulu is overused and exhausted. Board should have acted knowing all of about those injuries. Great point there, Jerome.
Can I just quickly respond to that?
Yeah, go
super
on,
chat?
go on. Yep.
Why would Levy invest in Ange if he's going to
Agreed.
sack him soon?
Exactly.
It's not about, it's not about
Because
Ange.
you're just wasting money at that point.
It's not about Ange. This is the problem. If you're building your whole club's philosophy on one manager and the next, you have no idea who the next person may or may not be. So, for instance, City, we all look at them as pretty well run. Okay, they consistently have a short list that changes because some managers go in and out of fashion of who could replace Pep, and they continually have a short list, but they continually buy players that match the managers that are on their short list. So there is contingency. So I don't believe you can, you should still be trying to improve your squad. Let's say you go out now and I'm going to throw a really good player in there. You go and buy Yorkades to play up front. Big Ange loses his job. You've still got Yorkades that can play for other managers. The idea that you shouldn't improve your squad because the manager might go, I just don't understand that logic. Go and buy good quality players, irrespective of who the manager is. Because as long as you're not buying players and then changing manager who has a completely different system and style, unless don't do that. And if you are
That's
doing
what Tottenham
that,
have been doing though. So
well,
that's
then,
why I'm asking
maybe,
the question as to why.
maybe.
Terry, I mean, they are planning that. From what
Good
I understand is that from Simon Davis, who used to be at Man City, the youth director, now he's at Tottenham. They were planning that they're going to have a plan fruition when Ange leaves, because he doesn't stick at loads of clubs. This was going to be a start of a process. You see what I'm saying? So,
I hear you.
but at the moment, from what I'm hearing, is that's why they're not sacking him at the moment, because they still haven't got that structure in place, which begs the question: why has that not been done? Not had that in place sooner. You see what I'm saying?
Tottenham and contingency plans don't go hand in hand.
No, I hear you.
That's my problem.
My
That's why
point is
Pete
why
Bates is
would
going to be in
Yorkades go
charge.
to Spurs? You're missing my point. Forget Yorkades. I'm just making the point about a good player, but it always goes over people's heads.
No, there's a reason
lost...
also. Aston Villa, since Johan Lange has left, or I think he got fired or left or whatever, since he left, they've been steadily improving. And since he joined Tottenham, we've been steadily declining. I think it's a natural occurrence, and you got to look at the other names involved with the structure of this club, other than the guy standing on the touchline with his hands in his pockets that makes you so upset.
And also,
Spurs
guys, like, oh, sorry, go on, Terry.
So no, go on, say your point. And then we'll jump back to these super chats.
Yeah. Also, like, I know, I keep banging on about Levy and Enoch. You see, in terms of Levy and Enoch, okay, Levy has a boss as well, right? The owner, Joe Lewis. Now, Levy's been in that position for 20 or 21 years or whatever he's been in that position. So, at what point does the owner turn around and look at him and say, "Listen, mate, you've overseen this period, and in that period, Tottenham won one cup." So, this is the thing. So they haven't done it. So this is why I don't believe in Levy's
successful. Levy's been successful, the same as Ed Woodward was successful for the Glazers in the last decade, because your owner's overarching view isn't about winning trophies or being the best team.
Money.
It's improving profits. The same as the Glazers. Everyone said, "Oh, they're stupid. They should bring someone else in to run the club." No, they got what they wanted. The people that are not really to blame. This is why I say to Spurs fans, if you really don't like your owners, stop giving your money to the club, because that's all they want is your money. So every time you feed that habit, you're feeding the monster that you say is only there for money. Leeches suck on your blood. To stop them sucking on your blood, you have to take them off your skin and stop giving them your blood. It's as simple as that. But it's hard.
The whale can never shed the remora. It's that simple.
I understand. I've never heard that expression before, but I'm going to accept it because it sounds very intelligent. So I like it. I like that, Jacob. I like it.
Glad I made it sound something.
It did. Spurs have lost 21 points from winning positions, most in the Prem. This is clearly an Ange problem, Terry. He doesn't know how to get games out. I think Ange is a big part of the on-field problem. There's no doubt. But again, I think it's important to not ignore the wider issues at the club that the Spurs fans know more about than us and have articulated very well today. I don't feel sorry for a single bit for a club who supported and cheered for other teams to win on their ground so that their rivals Arsenal don't win the league. Loser mentality, nothing club, karma. It's often said
Not
there.
all of us did. Not all of us did,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Had they won that game, they'd have Champions League and they'd have the Champions League cash to actually buy players to properly improve that team, would be my...
Oh, but Ange doesn't get it.
Based on
That was what I was told.
In fairness, though, Ange wanted to win that game. You could tell he was disappointed. He didn't give a damn about the
Sorry,
rival.
can I just go back to that Arsenal fan? Sorry, based on what will you get Champions League level players? Based on what?
Because you're in the Champions League, you can attract
based on
Champions
what?
League
But
type
past
players.
seasons. Well, let's look at the past seasons. We haven't got Champions League players recently.
But
in recent times,
look at
last
how
5
well
years, I
that
don't think
last season went for you. Look at the exciting football that you were playing. Are you telling me that Champions League
what do you
players
mean
would not want to
exciting
play?
football? No, what do you mean by exciting football?
You were playing
Up and
free-flowing
down.
football.
No,
You were
it wasn't-
amazing
it
to watch
wasn't-
last season.
That wasn't amazing football. In football, you having a laugh? Sorry, that was not amazing football from what I saw. I see a Fulham team with their midfield of Lukic and Sanderberg, right, playing better football than us. I see Leicester City doing
But
better.
you're basing
football
that on this
right now.
season.
Yeah, but there was last season as well. I was at the stadium most of the time.
Leicester
Brentford.
weren't in the league last season.
You've challenged each other. You've challenged each other. We'll leave it to the viewers now, just because of interest of time, please. I'm very sorry. The mentality thing is on point. Fan base celebrated losing last season to stop Arsenal. They won something. Why would any player fight for you? Us fans need to compare how we keep this Ange thing going. Too much of a good thing cannot be allowed to come to an end so abruptly. Shake it, Deji. Someone also wrote a comment when Deji was talking, and I forgot to put it up, and it was domination in the relegation. We laugh. Arsenal ended 8th with 13 losses in May. Spurs already with 13 losses in January, if I speak. When Leicester won the league, we came second. Did we, though? Or did you? They came third. I think, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah,
why
we
would
did.
Chelsea?
Yeah. Why would
Chelsea
next season? No, the Leicester season. Where did you finish?
When Leicester won it, we ended second. And then the following season, we were also up
when Leicester
there,
won
but
it.
then-
When Leicester won it, you came third. Arsenal came second.
Yeah, we came third in a 2-horse race. That's what everybody says about us.
yeah.
Why would we came second then? I don't
remember what year. Why would Potts come back? Genuinely, why? He ain't gonna come. I don't think he will come back personally with the relationship.
Y'all forgetting too that he's a manager of America. All right, America's manager, and it's the best manager we've ever had.
Deji, what is it? Arsenal's team is bad, but Arteta makes them good, or the team is good, but Arteta makes them bad? Either way, better than Spurs. Yeah, but he's just listen with what Deji's saying. In defense of him, he's not here. He's just being a Spurs fan and being tribalistic. He knows in his art of art. Right now, Arsenal are much better than Spurs on the field of play. Because what would it be? 3 seasons running? If they're going to finish 20+ points ahead of you. No one. He's just being a Spurs fan. He's just being a bit of fun. Would any of you take Ten Hag?
No.
Levy already denied him, so that's not going to happen.
No.
Arteta has won more than Spurs have in 18 years.
Yeah, correct.
It's a true point. You'll never walk alone all the way, but loving the Mr. Box Office. That is loving David Moyes always coming out from retirement. Sorry, Spurs, but not sorry. Sean Dyche, the relegation expert. Sean Dyche, would you take someone like Sean Dyche? Will that be underwhelming?
No.
I want to say no, but I actually like him a lot as a guy. So, I want to root for him, but not at my club. I don't know. It's weird.
I've always wanted to see Sean Dyche go to a bigger club. And I know Everton historically have won a lot, but they've been so poorly run. I'd love to see him get a squad with the players you've got. I'd just love to see how good he could do personally, especially as it's no risk to me. Impact me.
I enjoy him from a distance. I don't know that I would enjoy him at my club.
Yeah. I hear you.
As a manager.
Have you ever thought if Levy wasn't there, you might be worse?
That is something that you have to consider. Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you have to consider it because I either want the devil. Well, I can't say that, can I?
Better the
yeah,
devil you know than the devil you
Better
don't.
the devil you know than the devil you don't. It's one,
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons, and I'm getting onto a little bit of politics. When Brexit was happening, and what are you going to vote for? I'm like, I'm voting for the devil I know than the devil I don't. I thought I'd stay where it was. I just felt that was the safest option because, again, I'm not educated enough to. I didn't really think my vote. Not that my vote weren't important. I was like, I'm listening to everybody talk, and I'm like, I don't know enough about all these things. It was confusing, so I stuck with what we had, and we lost. There were 5 to 8 experienced players short. Sorry, they were 5 to 8 experienced players short of signings at the start of the year, and only bought a goalkeeper in January. Players are burnt out. And look, Longy, I think you make a great point there, and that's where I don't look at the manager, and I look more at the way they're run as a football club. I didn't mean to click on that comment there. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, I want to say a big thank you to all of you. If you've checked out Stocks FC already, brilliant. But go and get yourself signed up. Some brilliant IPOs coming out in the next week or so as well. But go and claim your 5 free stocks today. Start learning the platform. Start learning how it works. It is very, very simplistic. It's very easy. You're probably going to be better at it than I. Kate, Alex, Jacob, Matt and Orchy, of course, Deji and Mo were here earlier. I want to thank you all for coming on. To all of our super chatters, you're brilliant. To all of the subscribers, thank you. We're going to be live after Man United versus Fulham in a few hours' time. So I look forward to seeing you all back here then. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Peace.